Okay, so I think you can hear me clearly. In case if you are getting any interference, just let me know. Right. So we discussed about this particular topic last week as the very last part of the last week's session. So it was about the data transmission mods. So we talked about three data transmission mods like simplex, half duplex, and the full duplex or the duplex mod. So I'll recap it and go for the next topic. So it's the simplex mod means the sender is sending the particular data, so the receiver is receiving that particular data from their own sites, but it's not a communication which happens both the directions. It happens just into a one particular direction. So as the examples that they have taken the television broadcasting. So the broadcasting satellite or the broadcasting station is just broadcasting their program. So we can watch it through our television. So we won't be able to communicate with the broadcasting station through our television, right? So due to that, we can take that as a communication which happens into a one particular direction, right? So it's a simplex mod, all right? And when it comes to the half duplex is talking about communication for both the parties, like both the sides. That means we can't say there is a specific sender or a receiver when like we can talk about in the term of the parties who are participating in the communication. So the one party can communicate to the other side, and the other party can be communicate to the previous side as well, right? But the only thing that you need to remember regarding this is, in half duplex mode, they can't communicate at the same time to both the side. That is why it is called half duplex. So the best example is the walkie-talkie. So walkie-talkie is just a particular device which can communicate with both the ends, but when someone is talking, the other end should be listening to it. They can't talk over the other party. So when he stopped talking, then the other party can start talking and communicate to the previous end, right? So that is how the half duplex mod was working. So then finally we talk about the full duplex mod, which is a two-way communication, or like the communication happens both these sides. So it's kind of a telephone conversation, or like the communication that we are doing now is also a duplex communication, right? When I am talking to you, you can start your mic, or like on your mic, and talk back, right? So both the details will be flown at the same time to both directions. All right, so that is what you call full duplex or the duplex mod. So we wrote about these things, right? The things that we have written is in the recording that we have done last week. I think now you know how to refer the recordings from the website, so I'm not going to remind it again. In case if there is anyone who does not inform with the website, just let me know, right? So then I can quickly elaborate how the recordings can be referred. So now we can move to the communication media or the transmission media under this topic. So now when it comes to the transmission media, it is the medium that they are using to send the particular data from one end to another end, right? So if you think about your the communication mod or like if you think about a scenario that you are sending a particular image from one particular mobile device to another particular mobile device, we usually use Bluetooth, right? That is kind of a communication which involves no wires for the communication. So we call it wireless communication, right? So that wireless communication can also be addressed as unguided communication. And the communication that we are doing through a particular wire, right? So it can be a copper wire, it can be a fiber optic, right? Or any form of wires are being used to do the communication. That is called the wired or the guided communication, right? So regarding the wired communication or the guided communication, we are talking about three different wires, which is called the twisted pair wires, coaxial wires, and the fiber optics. And regarding the wireless communication, we are talking about the radio waves, microwaves, and infrared. There are many other wires and the signals that we can use in these particular categories, but for the moment, we are just talking about this. Okay, people, is that clear? All right, okay. So yeah, let's quickly write this down about the data transmission media, and we have to draw the diagram as well. So have the heading, people, data transmission media. Yeah, so have these two sentences, then after you can go drawing the diagram. Let me know when you are done, people.
I have finished my works.
Right, great. So one is done. How about the others? You have to go through the, you have to draw the diagram as well, people. All right, Tinomi, you can go on. Let me know when you are done. All right, anyone who is still drawing? Otherwise, we can move. Okay, so let's move forward. So then they are going to talk about these guided and unguided media separately. Let's see what they have to say over here. So in guided media, so here they have shown you what kind of a wire that you can see as a twisted pair. So it is called as twisted pair, as you can see it in the picture. There are 4 couples of wires which is twisted with each other. right? So there are 4 pairs which are twisted with each other. So this is the general network cable that you can see in your at your home most of the times. If you got a POTV or dial-up TV connection, if you got a router, you will be receiving a network cable. So inside the network cable, this is the structure that they are having, right? And as well as when it comes to the twisted pair, there are 2 types of twisted pairs, which are called the unshielded twisted pair and the shielded twisted pair. So like UTP and STP in short form. So you can see like there is a kind of a aluminium paper which is gone around these 4 pairs, so which is called the shield. So that is why it is called shielded twisted pair, right, as an STP. So in the UTP you can't find anything like that. So it's like shielded twisted pair has a better quality compared to the UTP, but still both the wires will use to do the communication, like maximum up to 100 meters. And the coaxial cable, in the other hand, is kind of a cable which can communicate for a greater distance compared to the twisted pair cable. And again, it uses a very thick copper line or a copper cable right at the central, or like at the center of the this particular cable, as you can see. And there is a copper mesh again, which separate by a insulator in between the copper cable, or like the that copper particular the center cable and the mesh, right? So and covering that, it has a very thick coat which helps them to protect the copper mesh from the outside or the environmental factors, right? So coaxial is heavily used to communicate the CCTV feeds, like from the CCTV camera to the CCTV controlling device or the storing device. So that is the place where it is heavily used, the coaxial cable. And as well as it was using, and still it is using, for the antennas, right? So like if you are watching the TV using an antenna, so like your TV and the antenna is connected through this coaxial cable, right? So comparatively, it is expensive than the UTP or STP cable. And from the quality wise, it has a better quality compared to the UTP or STP, as well as it has, it can communicate to a greater distance compared to the STP, right? And fiber optics, in other hand, it is considered to be the handiest guided media that we can have, like since the fiber optic cables are using the light to communicate the data, it is being considered as the fastest data communication method, all right? So and when it comes to the fiber optics, it has to be handled very carefully, right? Because this particular the center line, what you can see as a thick line, it is the line which takes the light inside it, right? And all these surroundings are there to protect that thick line, or like the thick the glass tube, which helps to communicate data inside it. Why it is being created out of glass? Because the light is going to travel inside these things with the help of the reflection, right? So it reflects inside the glass tube, and it communicates, like if you consider something like this, if this is the glass tube, so the light is traveling in this particular manner, right, inside the glass tube. So, and glass tube is having a very thick cord, right? So to protect this particular glass tube, as you can see right over here, right? So these are the things that we have to learn regarding the guided media. So before we move to the unguided media, let's quickly short this note, right? So have the heading, people, guided or wired medium, right? Here's the medium word. Sanushi, yes. Sanushi, the coaxial cable. Sanushi is asking to explain the coaxial cable. Like Sanushi, it is the this copper cable is the one which mainly help to communicate the things, right? So there is an insulator around it, like a rigiform, right? Which does not take any electrical signal from the this particular copper cable. So and surrounding it there is a copper mesh, right? අර පුංචි පුංචි කම්බි වලින් හැදිච්ච පොඩි mesh එකක් වගේ එකක්. Right? So it is being covered from this thick cord, right? That is how the coaxial cable is made. Clear? Okay, so if you write the guided medium or the wired medium, you can write this. Now hold on. Yeah, so it's better we write the entire sentence. And then after you can say number 1, twisted pair. And you have to mention about the 2 types. These things can be written as the points under those. Very flexible, lower price, suitable for maximum 100 meters communication. I'll put the word communication over here. Right, so suitable for maximum of 100 meters in communication. Then after we'll go for the shielded twisted pair. Okay, are we done? Okay, one is done. How about others? Okay, so we are moving forward. So shielded twisted pair, STP, that is the second kind. And it's much better we write these things under it. Better quality, secure data transmission medium, and expensive. So the number 2 is the coaxial cable. Yeah, it's better you write the entire thing before it's just explain how the wire is. Let me know when you are done, people. All right, one is done. How about others? All right. Anyone who is still writing? Okay, so moving forward, the final one, the fiber optics. So the third one, fiber optic cables. Yeah, you can start it from here. Yeah, so this should be the first point, and this is the second, this is the third, and this is the fourth. Okay, one is done. How about others? Anyone who is still writing? Okay, so let's move forward. The next one is about the unguided or the wireless media. So in your syllabus, you need to learn three types of unguided medias. One is the radio waves, the other one is the microwaves, and the last one is the infrared. So like radio waves is not something very new to you. We all use it in our day-to-day life when we are hearing to the radio, when we are watching the TV over an antenna, and when we are using the Wi-Fi, which everyone is doing for the moment, and when we are using the Bluetooth, all these technologies are made out of radio waves, right? And it has a very uh, greater distance where it can broadcast its signal, right? Like if you could see the broadcasting tower of the national, which is the Jatika Rupwahiniya and this Independence Network, ITN, they have this big broadcasting stations on their main station as well as some substations as well. So they broadcast that radio wave into a very greater distance. But when it comes to the microwaves, it does it better than that, right? Because you can't send a radio signal to the outer space, which can be reached to a satellite. But microwave has that ability to travel a very great distance, like 36,000 kilometers kind of a distance, and reach into a satellite. So like when we are going to do the satellite communication, it's the microwave that they are using. As well as there are some stations on the earth where they are going to communicate from that station to the other station directly using the microwaves, right? And again, the distance between those two stations are very greater. So it's very big in size. So you can communicate a particular message to a very greater distance when it is going to be a microwave. And at the same time, even though it is providing you a better service, a better distance, again, it comes with a particular cost. So it is expensive, right? So when it comes to the infrared, it's the most famous device where the infrared is using is the TV remote and any other remotes, right? So every remote basically use the infrared to do the communication. So it majorly used to do the short distance communication, not a long distance one, right? So infrareds are found on those particular places. Okay, so let's quickly write this down, then we can go for the network devices. All right, so have the heading unguided media. And it's better you write the clarification. And as number one, radio waves. Yeah, and you can write Wi-Fi and Bluetooth as the examples. That is enough for that. Yeah, Sanushi, when it comes to the radio waves, it has a very greater distance comparing to the infrared. Right? It's like the microwave has the greatest, and the radio wave is lesser than that. Infrared is less than that. I'm slowly moving the note upwards so I can highlight the things regarding the microwaves. If you miss anything regarding the upper notes, just let me know, people. Yeah, these facts are enough regarding the microwaves. අපි විතර ලයිට් නැති වෙයි. එළියෙන් දාලා ඉන්නේ. නිකන් නෙගටිව් ඉස්සරහ මතක වෙයි. මේක බයි කියනනේ. අපි මහගෙදරට යන්නේ. ආ මහගෙදරට කියලා නම් දෙන්න බැරි එකක් නෑ. නමුත් බැටරි මොකදම නැහැ. ඒ නිසා පරිස්සමෙන් ඉන්න දෙන්න. AC ඕෆ් කරන්න දැන්. AC ඕෆ් කරලා. අනිත් බැටරි හොඳට දැස්ති. Let me know when you are done, people. Okay, one is done. How about others? Yeah, Tinomi, no worries. You can write the things as point-wise. That is why I'm highlighting like fractions of those. Doesn't matter. Okay, anyone who is still writing? All right, so moving forward about the infrared, just write the entire thing. Yeah, Sanushi, it's like when the geographical factors, like when you find like when you find mountains, like some obstacles on the geographical area, microwaves does not go through those things. That is why they say it is based on the geographical factors. All right, are we done with the infrared? Right, so we are moving forward to get to know about the network devices. Now, this is a very nice diagram that you can find in your textbook, people. So let me explain how this works, right? So first of all, you have to identify there are several different components in this picture, right? So you can find, you can see there are like the devices like iPhones or like mobile phones, the laptops, the smartphones. These are things that we use in our day-to-day life, right? As well as if you go for this, the desktops, those are the things that we use in our day-to-day life. Like if you think about yourself, in most of the cases, you are using these devices alone, right? You use your mobile phone to do your own work, right? Your laptop to do your own work individually, right? But when you are using the Wi-Fi at your home, all the devices, right? All the devices are connected to this access point. Even though we generally name this as Wi-Fi, it is actually a router that we are using, right? This device is called a router, right? So router can act as a wireless access point, right? Or a Wi-Fi access point. In the same way, since these things are communicating wirelessly, if you think about your school labs situation, it has different number of desktops, and those desktops are connected with this kind of a device which is called the switch, And there is a device called hub, which is smaller than the switch and which is not that smart as a switch, but hub has the same ability of performing the task which is done by the switch. But in like when we are comparing the switch and the hub, we say switch is better than the hub. So anyhow, it doesn't matter whether it is a switch or a hub, that helps to connect different number of devices. It can be a computer, it can be a printer, it can be a scanner, right? Different kinds of devices using a one single or like one middle device or one central device, right? So what is actually happening is when all these devices are connected through the switch or a hub, so they has the ability of communicating. So if they create a message from here, it will reach over here. And if it needs to be sent to this particular computer, it is possible, right? And this server machine is again another computer, but it has different kinds or like more advanced performance comparing to a normal desktop or a normal computer that we are using, right? Server has a different processing powers, different like larger amount of capacities, larger number of memory availabilities, a higher performing processors, right? So even though it is a computer, it's a high performing computer, right? So because of that, it can give some services to these computers in the network. So like we are telling this as the server, the other computers that is connected to the switch is called the clients. So server is providing a service, clients are receiving the service, right? So this is how a small network, which is called a local area network, is formed. Right now, this particular thing alone, we can name it as a local area network, this small thing. As well as the network which creates here can also named as a local area network. So local area network is small in size, spread on a very small geographical area, right? And it needs a particular switch or a hub or a Wi-Fi access point to create its small network. And when these networks need to be connected with the internet, we can do it using a router, or else we can do it using a modem. Somehow it's going to connect with the world's largest network, which is called the internet. So now through the internet, they can connect to the internet through the modem, as well as they can receive things. They can receive things through the modem to the network. Data යවන්නත් පුළුවන් internet එකට, internet එකෙන් data අරගන්නත් පුළුවන්, which is simply what we call is uploading and downloading, right? But the problem is, since the internet is used by many different people, there can be some particular things which is receiving into these networks, which can harm those computers or the devices or the network. So to protect that, we have a device called firewall. So whatever you are going to receive through the modem, or here you can place a router as well. So whatever you are going to receive through the router or the modem will be checked using the firewall. Then if it is permitted to be come into the local area network, then that data will be given the chance to go inside. Otherwise, it will be rejected. Right? So is that clear? there are devices connected through the Wi-Fi access points, the switches and hubs, and we are connecting to the internet through a modem or a router. So the things that we are receiving from the internet will be checked by the firewall. If it is safe, it is given to the local area networks. If it is not being permitted, it will be rejected from the firewall. So it is protecting your network, in other words. Okay. Any questions regarding these people? Okay, so yeah, let's have the heading computer network devices. And I want you to draw this diagram at home. So please mark it, people. Right? It should not be this fancy. You can use a square or a circle to indicate the phones and laptops and all these things. Just draw it in a sketchful manner, right? So I'm moving to the downward. It's figure number 2.71, which you need to be draw at home. And here we have something called NIC, network interface card. So I think you can remember, or you have experienced this network interface, not the network interface card, the network interface, or in short terms, we call it network port, right? Every computer has this network port, right? And that network port is provided by this network interface card. Now this network interface card, we can purchase one from the market as a separate network interface card. And sometimes it is being welded into the motherboard or like integrated into the motherboard system. So we can only see the port. So it will be connected with the RJ45 connector, which is always connected with the twisted pair cable in most of the cases. Right? So network port will help a device to take the data from a network into the device, as well as to send the data to a network from the device. Right? So that is why the network port is there. It is not only for the internet, people. Without the internet, just by using the network port, we can connect several different computers with the help of the switch. Right? So those computers will not receive the internet, but still one computer has the ability to send a message to the other computer which is connected to the same switch. Right? So that is what you call NIC. We talked about the switch and the hub, and we talk about the router. Actually, this is the Wi-Fi means is not a device, people. It is just a signal mod, which is called wireless fidelity. And that Wi-Fi is given by the device called router, right? And there are many devices which can have the Wi-Fi wireless fidelity, right? Even if you take your particular laptop, it is having the Wi-Fi access point, right? So router is one of the place where it can communicate by using the wireless fidelities, right? So modem, as we discussed, which is used to connect with the internet. Nowadays, we are heavily using the routers to do this. So modem is the one who can convert digital signal into an analog signal, and the vice versa, right? So still, there are places where they use modem separately to connect with internet, right? But in most of the cases, in our cases, the modem is integrated into the router. So the service is given by the router, and we feel the router is the one who is given the service of the modem, but not actually. What has happened is when they are creating the routers, they create several different services inside it, or they embed several different services into it. All right. And as well as the word modem is created with the two words, which is modulation and demodulation. As you can see, the first two letters of the modulation and the first three letters of the demodulation will give you the value or the appreciation for the modem by using those letters. And firewall, as I told you, it will guard the network, and firewall can be configured by saying who are permitted to be inside and who are not. All right, so that is the purpose of the firewall. Right, so let's quickly write about the network interface card since we have little time. So computer network devices, so you're going to draw this at home, right? Yeah, people, let's do it like this, since even today, like we are having only 6 in the room. Since the others are absent, let's end the session from here, right? So by next week, everyone will be there in the room, so we can continue as usual, right? So I'll stop the session like 5 minutes before, like I did last week, right? So by next week, you have to complete this diagram, then I can continue the note from this point onwards, right? So we'll write this down, and by next week, hopefully, we will be able to finish up this lesson, right? So that means you are finish up with 2 lessons, and please start revising. You are going to face with an online exam. I have already laid the plans for that. All right. So start revisioning, people. All right. It won't be a very hard and fast one. So just to have the experience and to check your knowledge, we can have that particular online exam. I'll let you know when you are going to have, but it's better you start rehearsing the things. Okay, people. So thank you very much. I'll see you on next week for the very same time. All right. And
Thank you, sir.
continue.
Bye.
Yeah, from the place.
Have a nice day.
Okay, take care, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Okay, everyone. Thank you very much.